guys, welcome to ArepasDelGringo. Today we're going to be making some arepas. This is probably a little more of an advanced ingredient level of arepas, but it is still pretty basic. I'm adding in a few different things here to create a little more of a higher moisture level, a little bit more bouncy texture, and still retain some great flavor. So I'm eyeballing most of these ingredients here, but I did measure 2 cups of water, and I'm going to save, maybe a fifth of that, just so I have a little bit of extra when I add in the dough or the cornmeal. I also have some milk. All of these wet ingredients are warm. So it's not hot, it's not cold, it's warm. And the reason for that is we have some melted butter here. We don't want to create lumps and chunks, so this way we can keep everything at room temperature. So I'm just going to grab a little spatula, just so we have that. The next thing we want to do is add in a little bit of salt. So I did add about a half a tablespoon of salted butter. Some people like to use unsalted, and so they can measure and gauge the salt themselves. But I did add some salted butter, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt here. So I'm going to do about 2, 3, about 4 good pinches of salt. Okay. And I'm just going to mix that in so it just blends the butter, the milk, the water, and the salt. I don't need to melt everything, every piece of salt completely, but just to incorporate it all. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is add in some harina pan. So essentially it's pre-cooked white cornmeal, and I'm going to add in enough, not too much, but I want to add enough so everything is all mixed together so I can control, make sure there's no lumps. I like to do about half at a time. I'm going to mix everything together. Make sure we can go through this and just, squish everything up. Sometimes the butter likes to stay around the edges, so let's move that towards the center. So far we added some water, some milk, half a stick of butter. For the milk, it was probably about a cup of milk. And this, what I'm trying to do is make about 8 arepas. Also going to grab just a little bit of oil right here. So the next thing is I have some Cotija cheese. And this cheese is, it's a Latin style dry crumbled cheese. It has a little bit of salt in it. We're going to just add in quite a bit, maybe a cup and a half, to give it a nice flavor. And we're just going to mix that in just like so. So we're getting a pretty good texture so far, but we still have to add in a couple more ingredients. But so far this is looking really good. This is actually a really good texture. So what I'm going to do now is just drizzle in just a little bit of oil. So what this does is this actually makes it really malleable when you form them. It adds some good flavor too, but it allows it to not stick so much. And see right now how it's just folding really nicely. Then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop an egg right in the middle. Okay. I'm going to mix this up, get everything all together. And that little bit of egg in the oil at the end probably did add quite a bit of moisture to it. The egg's definitely going to help bind it and give it that little, bouncy texture. But it is probably right now just a little bit too wet to form. So what I like to do is this cornmeal actually dries really fast. So if you were to be doing this without the egg, without the oil, without some of these ingredients, you're going to notice that it dries out very quickly. You're going to be making, as you get to your 4th one, every one that you make after that, it's going to be starting to get harder and it's starting to break and stuff like that. So I just like to let it sit just for a couple minutes, just to let it, change its properties, do what it does when everything's everything's all mixed together, but this is a pretty good consistency right now. It is still wet, but for the most part, it's pretty good. So as you can see, I have one other ingredient over here, and it's shredded cheese. And you don't have to do this, but this is more of a Venezuelan style recipe, but my wife is Colombian, and she loves her authentic cheese-filled arepas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to form these in my hand, and I'm going to make a cup out of this dough, place some cheese in, fold it around, and then form it into a ball. So what I'm going to do at this point is actually just go back to my cornmeal just for a minute and just add in just a little bit more, just to dry it up just a little bit, not too much. And I like to go around the bowl, spin it, and just merge it into the center, and this creates a really nice blending effect. So as you can see, this is much closer to what we want, where we can pick it up, or we can put it into our hand. You know, we can make a ball out of it. We can then take it, put some cheese in it, and fill it up. So that's a really good texture. So let's actually do that. I'm going to take some about the size of a large golf ball. I'm going to start to form it about like so. I'm going to grab some shredded cheese. And you can fill it. Don't be shy. So you're going to take that and you're going to form it into sort of like an empanada, okay? And then you take it and you just seal up the edges. And then once you get it into a nice little ball, you can start to spin it. And you want to make sure you get all the holes covered. That way when you get it on the stove or on the griddle, however you're doing it, no cheese is escaping, and it makes a nice pocket where you can cook. So this is pretty good, so I'm actually going to set this down right here. I'm going to make another one. These are still a bit moist, and I actually like them on the moist side because they just are very puffy. And they taste delicious. So I'm just going to, I'd rather have them with a higher moisture level than have them drying out. So it's okay, and if you still feel like you need to add a little bit more of the dough, feel free to do so. Okay, so here's another one. Got that nice ball. Just set that aside for now. I'm gonna get another piece. And honestly, just to show you what it looks like if I add a little bit more, because it is still kind of on the wet side. Let's put this down here. Let's mix this all in. And I also found that if you rinse your hands after every about 2, it's going to make your work a lot easier, because it starts to stick and catch. So the stuff that's on my fingers here is going to try and hold on to the arepa in my hand, so it's easier for it to get released if your hands are freshly cleaned again. So this is a little bit easier to form. So it's honestly like making meatballs right now. You're just getting it nice and round. I'll put another one right here. So what I made probably we'll get about 8. We'll get about 8 out of it, and that's pretty good. So I'll flatten it out. Make that little bowl. Drop in that cheese. And the really good thing about arepas is the cornmeal is gluten-free. The cornmeal is gluten-free. If you're lactose intolerant, don't add milk, don't add cheese. Okay? If you're vegetarian, you don't need to fill it with meat. You can fill it with black beans, plantains. You can put some guasacaca sauce on it. You can do a lot of things. So as you can see, we're ready to get cooking. I actually just picked up this appliance. It's actually an arepa maker. I've been making them by hand ever since I learned how to make them. So this is quite new to me, and I know a lot of people might say, oh, you're not supposed to make them with that. You should make them all by hand. But I actually just catered a party for my wife, and I made about 30 cooked, made, everything. 30 to 35 of these in just a little over an hour. These cook in about 7 minutes, and they're really awesome if you need to make a lot of these. So I'm actually just going to take one by one, put them right here. 2, 3, 4, and close the lid. And that's it for now. I'll come back in a little bit. So these are about ready. We're going to take these out. And as you can see, nice and fluffy. This one overfilled with a little cheese, but that is totally fine. Just going to flip these over and see what they look like. Perfect. Take this, flip it over. Perfect. They are quite hot, so be careful. That one, nice and toasty. That's a good one. And we'll take this one. I'll put this over here as well. Next, we'll just get it ready. Put our next set on right here. Close it up. And I'll see you in 7 minutes. So here we have it. Some fresh hot arepas, guasacaca, black beans, Platanos maduros, Queso Fresco, Carnitas, red cabbage, Cotija, and shredded cheese. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a hot arepa, and it's actually really hot. Be careful. We're going to hold it like this, stick the knife in, and cut it almost all the way through. We need to leave the base connected so it will catch all the delicious juice. So here we can see the cheese that is in the inside right now. So the first one that I'm going to do is actually I'm going to take some, let's do some black beans. I'm going to drain them just a little bit. Some black beans. I'm going to take some platanos. I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to take some cotija, sprinkle that on. And this is going to be one of them, as you can see. Delicious. The next one I'm going to do, I'm going to slice open. And they are hot. Almost all the way through. Let's do some, hold it this way, let's do some carnitas. Nice chunky carnitas. Get some of the juice, but not all of it. It's lovely. We'll take some red cabbage. I'll take some crumbled cheese here. And then we'll take some guasacaca. Beautiful. Got the nice pop of the red, the green, the white, and the carnitas. Side view. Let's do another one. So right now we have a vegetarian arepa over here, and we have one with meat. And these are all gluten-free. And if you're lactose intolerant, we can use one right here that does not have cheese inside it. We'll do the arepa domino right now, which is black beans, and shredded cheese. We got the domino. And you can mix and match, and you can do beans and pulled pork. I have avocado, but I didn't slice it up right now, but that actually is really good as well. So let's do another meat, shredded meat. Let's get it right here. Let's throw some Some black beans in this one. You can get super creative. I mean, they have the arepa pabellón, rumbera, they have viuda, they have one of scrambled eggs. You can be as creative as you want. Nobody says you need to follow the rules here. Well, it depends who you talk to, but I mean, how can you go wrong? Look at that. We'll add this one. We can call this the cheese one, okay? And we'll add in some crumbled cheese, some cotija, and I actually really like the contrast of this guasacaca, so I'm gonna put some more in here and make it just like that. And then you just eat these like little sandwiches. Look at that. Look at this plate. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So as you can see, very versatile. There's so many ways that you can make these things. I'm going to do a zoom in a minute so you can see them up close. But guys, hope you enjoy this. Please make them. Let me know how they come out. So as you can see, with some very basic ingredients, we've been able to produce such a variety of arepas. Black beans, cotija, and avocado. Black beans and shredded cheese. Guasacaca, carnitas. We have red cabbage and queso fresco, platanos maduros, black beans, cotija. Slice them open. There's unlimited combinations. I really hope that you like this. Please try them. Please tell me how you like them, if this is your first time or if you've been making these forever. Please let me know. Give me some comments, give me some likes, give me some shares. I really appreciate it. Check out ArepasDelGringo.com. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.